Minority Report, but the reality report is that my generation is full of global influencers. Recently, 3 of our young people were selected as one of 30 under 30 CEOs by Forbes in the US from Nigerians. Youth political strategists in my generation. Movement builders in my generation. Entrepreneurs par excellence in my generation. Socially savvy young people in my generation. Technologically advanced technocrats in my generation. Intelligent house sons, well educated in my generation. Against all odds, the system has been built to shut us up. But guess what? Despite that, our young people have come up with initiatives. Light Up Nigeria campaign that gained international headline for the issue of power in Nigeria, if you remember it. Slum to School initiative, turning Makoko into a floating school. Young guy working on that project. North Youth Agri Entrepreneurs, a young man creating young entrepreneurs in the North. Despite Boko Haram, he was almost killed recently, sharing his story with me. Dustbin Village, Occupy Nigeria, like I said, youth presidential debate, RSVP campaign, register, select, protect your vote. That's what we've been doing. And then platforms like Leap Africa, Rise Network, Enough is Enough, Ajegule.org, Co-Creation Hub, The Future Projects, Beacon Grassroots Empowerment. These are initiatives by young people, and these are just 10 of about thousands that are out there. How come then we are part of the minority when in essence we are the majority? Alhaji Shehu Shagari was a federal legislator at 30 years old. A minister at 35. Chief Richard Akinjide was a minister of education at 32. Chief M.T. Umba was a minister at 25 and a high commissioner to the UK at 26. Maitama Sule, our very own oil minister at 29. More than half of the cabinets of Tafawa Balewa Square were less than 40 years old. General Yakubu Gowon led Nigeria through civil war at the age of 32. Chief Audu minister at 35. And then we keep saying that we are the future, we are the leaders of tomorrow. Tomorrow is upon us, the future is here, we are the leaders of today. At best, the only involvement that young people have ever had in Nigeria is as just voters or political thugs or electoral watchers and monitors. Go and monitor and see that ballot boxes are not snatched. Young people. Commentators and bloggers on the internet. Attending political parties and rallies. That's all. But if this merger, please, sirs and mars, read my lips. If this merger will be successful, young Nigerians need to be part of this and part of it from start. And if it's not successful, please hear me, failure is not an option. Because to not have started would have been better than to have merged and then you are dispersed. Please hear me and hear me very well. If young people are not involved to help shape the future of Nigeria, there's power dynamics. Every 30 years, power changes. How come then I'm 32 years old and the future of my life when I will be 62, I'm not part of that discussion. When an 80-year-old man that is not going to live in that future is helping me shape the future. I should be part of shaping that future. Please hear this. We say beyond the merger. Beyond the merger, political change, potential change, movement, equity that we can bring to the table. It is not about noise or trying to sense you or trying to size you up. No. These are credible things that young people are currently doing quietly and can bring to the table. Let me give you the first one. Intellectual and human capacity. When it comes to the level of reasoning and interpreting our current options in Nigeria, young people can interpret. Please let me tell you that the world has changed. And people who are wise, they make sure that their cabinets and their teams and their committees are full of young people who can see into the future. Technology has taken over our lives, and fathers and mothers, whether you like to believe it or not, I helped my mom set up a mobile phone. She doesn't know how to use it. So you can want to say that I'm involved, but there's only a level to which you can take it. What would take you a week to do would take us 24 hours to do. Simply because of the power of information that is at hand currently. So intellectual capacity. Obama proved 6 years ago that it was possible to lack experience, but have the ability to lead a movement. He was able to raise the biggest amount of money for campaign by using a strategy called crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is an ability of a young person, for instance, to begin to raise money from across Nigeria to form political campaigns. Sir, I beg to differ. You can't do it. You can be able to target certain people that will drop the money, but man, I can tell you that crowdsourcing is our thing. And once you engage the right set of young people, you begin to realize that they can begin to interpret and begin to look at how we do it well. Please understand and know that, and know that it's even beyond that. Mobilization is key, is a key part of political movement and political ideology. And mobilization, there is no better mobilization currently than mobile mobilization. Every tweet is a single human being that resides in a local government, that resides in a quarter somewhere. Every single handle can become something, is a vote, is a potential vote. And young people can deliver a strategy to convert voters, to convert Facebook followers and Twitter handles into physical votes, so they can bring mobilization to the table. So we can no longer say they are not part of this game. The game has changed. As I'm rounding up, so what is your responsibility? What are you supposed to do? Because I'm saying a lot of things, but I haven't quite told you what you're supposed to do. I have several things that must be done. The first thing is, one, we need to kill this current mentality of their tomorrow. We need to begin to embrace that tomorrow is here. And it's a mental, it's a psychological thing that has to happen to all our fathers and mothers under the sound of my voice. Second, the youth must lead or be part of the current ideology one way or another. They cannot be sitting outside when the meeting is going on inside. No, they must have a seat at the table. We must begin to create access, not opportunities for opportunists. There are people that are lobbying around you right now. Some of them are young. They are simply looking for an opportunity to hit and hammer. But you begin to create proper access for the right people to go through the system, and you select them. Sir, the fourth thing you must do is that you must begin to create what I call good governance kindergartens of good governance, like Governor Fashola is doing in Lagos State. By now, please hear me as I'm closing. Number 6, we must make, and I choose this word very carefully, we must make politics very sexy. And by sexy, I mean that we must make it very attractive. Currently, politics is dirty in Nigeria. And I know it's dirty all across the world, but they do it in a different way that it looks glamorous. Please make it attractive. The days of Ashwabis and rice and jamboree policies, they are numbered. In the next 10 years, write it down. It will be different in Nigeria. 7, we must begin to, please. And I use this word very carefully. Godfatherism. There is nothing wrong in it. We must encourage political mentors. We must encourage positive political godfathers. But proper system that can govern a system so that right people can go through the system. I beg to say today that there was a way some of the governors today that are performing were discovered. I don't want to mention names. That's proper godfatherism. And they go through a system. And we must design a system that delivers that. Please hear me very well. ANC model in South Africa, they do it and they do it well. A social media survey that I did recently said, who is to Nigeria what Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela is to South Africa? Dad and mom, nobody. They couldn't agree on who is to us. Who. Please, this is your time for legacy. Earn it. I close with this. Leadership must never be accidental. I respect Malam El Rufai very well, and I saw his book on accidental public servant. Thank God that he had trained himself very well before he found himself in the position. But there are so many people that will accidentally be leaders, and they will ruin our nation because of an accidental leadership. Leadership in Nigeria must be deliberate, and there must be a system that channels leadership. So I propose to you, today you have Kennedy School of Governance. You have Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. Where is Bola Tinubu School of Governance? Where's Awolowo School of Governance? Where young people can go through and you begin to see their paradigm and the way they are supposed to deliver good governance. And you have people like Governor Fashola and Governor Fayemi training them to come out. I'm not saying that it will be perfect, but it will be better than what we currently have. And finally, I leave you with this. This must never end here. We must create a platform that brings young people together. I have so much to say, and it will take a symposium to say it. A speech like this is never enough, where young people can sit down with older people and we begin to rub minds and begin to chart our future. This is not about politics. This is not about a platform. This is not about title or headlines. This is simply about the future of Nigeria that we must do something about. Let me leave you with what Chino Achebe said, RIP. Nigeria is the way it is today because our leaders are the way they are. And if we must change that, hear me and hear me very well. They say that politicians, that ordinary politicians are only interested in election, but statesmen are interested in the next generation. The question is not whether our fathers and mothers in this room can. The question is whether our fathers and mothers in this room will. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. There may be some in this hall who wish now that they had listened more attentively when I was introducing Mr. Kola Oyeneyin. And for their